Hey guys, I'm gonna be reviewing a video called 12 Signs You Live in an Invisible Prison. I like the title of the video because that's what I always say, that we live in a prison, the bars are invisible, but we always feel enslaved, which is, I think, what this video is about. We'll see.
You people in the West are living in an invisible prison.
Yes, but pretty much everybody on Earth lives in such a prison, except that in some places the prison is different, the rules are different, but that doesn't make it not a prison. It's just a different prison.
And you love it.
People don't actually love it, they simply grow up in it, they are used to it. It feels like home, it feels like the norm. But I would of course actually love living naturally.
Let me show you. The prison walls are your entertainment and video game screens.
Yes, I think that what he means is probably that you live in a different reality because, for example, teenage kids, they're not allowed to hunt. Maybe some of them could get a license to hunt, but it's too much of a hassle and their parents would never even think of it, which is why they play Counter-Strike or whatever kind of shooters instead. Most of these games were created by the military to brainwash the children to join the military later in life. But the main reason is really just for them to live out their natural so-called fantasies, what they actually naturally want to do, which is to hunt, which is why they form these groups in the game and then hunt in the game. Before video games, we used to play tag or shoot each other with imagine pistols with wooden sticks or whatever kind of stuff. It's always the same because it's all about hunting in the end.
Distracting you from real experiences. The prison meals are the fast food chains.
It's not so much that it's supposed to distract you also, but it's really supposed to just make you not realize what you're naturally supposed to do. So you just try to imitate it through video games or by watching movies, especially horror movies. Prison meals are the fast food chains. Prison meals are the fast food chains, but it's also really more so grains and vegetables. That's the prison food. That's what you get in prison also. Seeds and vegetables. It's exactly the same outside. And they tell you that it's healthy.
Keeping you hooked and weak with instant shallow gratification. The prison uniform are the fashion trends, erasing individuality.
That's true. It's when you believe that wearing Gucci makes you special. But it's also really about clothes themselves, seeing as in nature. You have some clothes which you would create for the people, especially to protect the genitals, especially for men, because they're vulnerable to harm. But usually you don't really need anything. So really all clothes are prison uniforms.
In exchange for conformity. The prison yard are your social media platforms.
Yes, that's true today. Back in the day, it would be just you going outside between your Soviet blocks in Eastern Europe. Yeah, but that's true, kind of. Social media was created to disconnect us.
Where comparison and insecurities keep you in fear every fucking day. The prison work is your 9 to 5, giving you enough means to get by, but not enough to break out.
Yes, exactly. Although that's a topic which you can argue about. Can you really break out of the matrix with money? Sort of, in the sense that you can buy some land and a house somewhere in the middle of the woods. Of course, you will still be buying it, paying with non-existent money, and you will be still bound to the government. The only way you can break out is by literally breaking out, as in leaving all money behind, realizing that it doesn't exist, just not even living in the system, and just going into some huge forest and building your own shelter and living there. And that's what some people have done. You can't actually break out of the matrix with money, although then again, I guess you could use it to buy a lot of stuff, which would get you to that point. That's why I said it's arguable.
The prison doctor.
But by the way, it is very true what he says, that we get enough money just to survive, but to never actually get out. Or to never at least actually be able to buy good food or actually live properly, even if it is in the slave system, and then you just die in the end, and your pension is also usually very low. In Germany, people get their pension, they still have to go and collect bottles, the elderly people, to get enough money.
Is your doctor who treats your symptoms and not the root issues of your sickness.
Yeah, very true. It's what they always say. This video is kind of for the slaves, to introduce them into the truth, but it doesn't actually tell you any real truths, which would not even be possible on YouTube anyway, to be fair. But yeah, of course he's right. They treat the symptoms, but they keep you sick anyway because they don't even heal your illness, whatever it is. Usually, if you're malnourished, and most disease comes from bad food, it's not as if they're going to tell you to eat liver. If you have anemia, for example, back in the day, they said eat raw liver. Now they say take some kind of pills. Well, what is it going to do? It's going to treat the problem.
And make good money with that, сука.
Сука. Хорошо, блядь. It's a Russian guy or what? Молодец.
The prison currency.
I gotta say, Russians they have always been more aware of what's going on. Even if it's only the surface level, usually still. Russians, yeah. Good people, for the most part.
Are your credits and loans?
Credits and loans. Yeah, I know what he's about to say.
Chaining you to the prisons forever, in exchange for material comforts and fake status symbols. The prison handbook are the legacy media outlets dictating norms and shaping opinions. You don't like them. Why do you still watch them? The prison...
Yes, exactly. Our opinions, beliefs, and everything is formed when we are children already. We just believe what is right and wrong, good, bad, what you just shouldn't be doing or what's not allowed to do. It all comes from the media for the most part and school. Also from your parents, but your parents only get it from the media and school anyway.
Parole system are your retirement promises. They say you will be free, but just end up in another prison, the elderly home.
Oh my god, that's the worst, man. These places are just... the way people treat them, the elderly people, the workers, you've probably heard of all the cases of what they do to these people there. Horrible. The only people who should be taking care of you when you're old are your family members. And those are the only people who will care about you. Everybody else who treats you like trash. It's horrible. Never, never, whatever happens, don't send your mother, father, anybody, grandpa, whatever, to these elderly homes, these care homes. It's a death sentence, essentially.
The prison visitors are not your family members, because in modernity, families are so weak that these people won't even return your phone call. The prison gangs are your online communities. They seem to help you.
Is that how bad it is? Interesting. It's not like that for me. But maybe today, when you grow up, maybe it is like that. That's messed up.
But harm you. They are polarized groups and divide people into left and right. They pit you against each other.
Yes, exactly. I've talked about this extensively. Left and right, even good and bad, but everything where there's two sides, it was all created to divide the people, of course, because then you fight against each other. I see these stupid fights in the US, for example, right now, when you had the whole Trump, Kamala, whatever thing. The left attacks the right and they fight each other. Some Antifa guys attack the Make America Great Again guys. Come on, man. If you do have an enemy, it would be the same one. You just don't know what it is, unfortunately, in the US. People are not aware of what's going on in that country, but that's the whole reason they don't. It's because they are divided, because they think that if you're right, the enemy is left. If you're left, the enemy is right. Can't be anything else. Must be just one or the other, right?
keeping you from unity and true understanding. And the prison guards, those who keep you from
Okay, you do have to say the right thing right now. Just please don't say something wrong.
escaping. It is yourself.
Idiot. No, okay. There's some truth to that, but no, come on. Police and military, what are you talking about? How would our society work without the police? They can't. Because they have to enforce the rules. It's by the very definition, the guards. It's also true that you yourself, I guess, because you're brainwashed, manipulated throughout your life, keep yourself in the cage. But really, this was not a good comparison if you compare it to a prison.
Your own comfort and your laziness. The good news is, it's all in your hand. The day...
That's kind of true, but your head, what he means is your brain, is controlled by your gut, and your gut is controlled by the food that you eat. That's what will make you feel good or bad. That's what will make you understand what's going on. Your brain is going to function a lot better if your gut is healthier, and if you're consuming raw brain, raw meat, blood, and so on, what humans consume in nature, your body is going to become more natural. You're going to actually literally become more clever, and you're going to start figuring out what's going on this earth. I know that the point of these kind of videos is to kind of just talk about stuff, kind of more philosophical in a way, and then they want people to come to their own conclusions, and the words themselves are supposed to help, but it's not really the case. Like at the end of the day, the words are not really going to change a human being. The human being has to change biochemically.
You decide to be free and walk away from all this shit. You have escaped. A prison escape.
That's the thing though, Russians eat a lot more meat than other Europeans. That's why they would be also more likely to escape. That's why they understand a lot more stuff.
It's never easy, and you will be hunted for a while. But it's worth it. And after a few weeks or months of being on the run, you will one day sit down, look at your son, and tell him of the biggest achievement in your life. We are free, son. We are free. Be honorable.
It's interesting that he ended the video with "be honorable." Honor is essentially great respect that you would feel for your family members, for the most part. Also possibly close friends, maybe even people that you look up to. In this case, in these modern times, it would be some kind of celebrities, tall, beautiful people, but you don't know them, it's different. I don't know really what he was trying to say in the end, because generally being honorable, it doesn't really make super much sense. You can really get duped and can become pretty naive also. If you're just gonna show great respect towards everybody, or if you want people to show great respect towards you, well, then you have to be a certain way. And a lot of times it's out of your hands also. Whatever. The video was overall good. Like I said, it's kind of more like for the slave population to get into the basics, but it's cool. Maybe you watch this kind of video, it's food for thought, you start thinking about something. Yeah, that's all great. We do for sure live in a prison. I've talked about this for many years. It's just invisible. People just don't realize that they live in a prison. That's what a lot of my videos are about. Not the ones that I post on YouTube, but on Telegram, Rumble, my website. Because most of the problems that we have come from living in this prison, being enslaved. So most of the topics always go back to the same thing. And it's all about just decoding that I also grew up as a slave, just like all of you. I went through some pretty traumatic stuff, which is when I had a vision of eating raw meat, and then I tried it many months later, and then I switched to eating raw meat because of this vision, because of the trauma. Near-death experience, very near. I was close to death. You can't really be any closer to death than I was. And then I realized that a lot of stuff is wrong. Through that, I realized how fake and messed up people are also. I had tons of realizations. I still keep having a lot of new realizations, because you grow up as a slave and then you try to get out of it, sort of. I still live in the slave system, as you know. I'm using the internet. But with one of my feet, I'm kind of out of it also. I'm kind of in and out. I sometimes switch from going in and out also. I'm kind of out, then I go back into the matrix to make videos, and then I'm kind of out again. You just grow up and realize that everything that you know is wrong for the most part. And then you're just trying to decipher everything for the rest of your life. It's better just to go into nature and just leave this whole garbage behind. If I could do that, I would do that. But when you're in the slave system, you just get confronted with it all the time. And then you just keep realizing, wow, I was lied about this, and it just doesn't stop, and it's just everything. And then you just realize, wow, it's just all a lie. When you realize how much you've been lied to, you can almost go nuts from the realizations themselves. Except that you realize that you're not the one who's nuts. Everybody around you is crazy. Thanks for watching.